Hey everyone, I hope you're all doing well. Today we are here at TryHackMe's website, as you can see, and today we are going to look at this new learning path, the Junior Penetration Tester that TryHackMe released I think 1 week ago or something like that. And I thought it would be a good idea to document the process and to go through it with you guys. So let's just get started. As you probably can understand, this is an introduction to pen testing, so this will introduce you to the fundamentals and the basic concepts of pen testing. So yeah, the first room is actually pen testing fundamentals. And yeah, let's just get started with the first room. Okay, so the objective of this first room is to learn the important ethics and methodologies behind every pen test. I love that people like to call this concept of penetration testing pen test, because they think that penetration testing is like a funny name. It's like weird. Okay, penetration testing, wow, what are your family members think that you do when you tell them that you're a penetration tester? But I don't think that pen test is better. I mean, are you testing pens or something like that? I think that ethical hacking and offensive security are just better terms to describe what we do, but yeah, never mind. So as you can see, you have pretty big text here for you to read, but the most important information that you have here is the definition of penetration testing and a fun fact here at the end. So penetration test or a pen test is an ethically driven attempt to test and analyze the security defenses to protect these assets and pieces of information. A penetration test involves using the same tools, techniques, and methodologies that someone with malicious intent would use and is similar to an audit. And the fun fact that I was just talking about is that according to Security Magazine, which is a cybersecurity industry magazine, there are over 2,200 cyber attacks every day. I mean, and that translates to one attack every 39 seconds. That is crazy. Okay, so you can read pretty much all of this if you want. I'm just going to move along so we don't waste any more time, because here on the task 2 we have some questions. Let's just look at the questions first. You are given permission to perform a security audit on an organization. What type of hacker would you be? So there are different types of hackers. We should be looking for that on the text above. You attack an organization and steal their data. What type of hacker would you be? Okay, another question regarding types of hackers. And what document defines how penetration testing engagement should be carried out? So once again, you have a lot of text for you to read. Basically here, what they are trying to teach you is that the ethical side of hacking is really important here. And if you're doing an audit or a penetration test, you must have permission to do it. You can't just go to a company and say, oh, I found these vulnerabilities on your website or on your applications, because they will ask you, okay, but who gave you the permission to test our stuff? And you will get in trouble because that's illegal. Okay, so first of all, the types of hackers. And you have 3 types here: the white hats, the gray hats, and the black hats. I'm gonna try to explain you, trying not to read these definitions, although you should read them. So the white hats are the good guys. So they work full-time for a government or for a company, and they are trying their best to find vulnerabilities before the bad guys do, in order to fix them so the bad guys cannot exploit them. On a basic level, this is what white hackers do. Then you have the opposite spectrum, which are the black hat hackers. And these are the criminals. These are the guys that are trying to steal your information. These are the guys that are hacking companies with the goal of getting money, getting confidential information and stuff like that. And then you have these gray hat hackers. And these are the ones that are a little bit shady. They are kind of in the middle. So they can have like a full-time job where they are helping their company to improve their security posture. But then, I mean, at night they are using the exactly same skills they have, but they are doing like illegal stuff. So the example they give you here is that someone taking down a scamming site. So a scam site is not good, but taking down a site, it's illegal. So yeah, you can see that it's a little bit shady, it's a little bit dubious, those guys. But we are white hats, so we don't have to worry about that. But we have to worry about those black hats, because they are trying to get over everything. So our job is to stop them, and we are trying our best. Okay, next we have the rules of engagement. So this is a document that is really important. When you're trying to do an audit or a pen test, you're not just going there to hack everything and let them know that you're the boss. Usually there's rules, there's a scope, and there's specific things that you can do and that you cannot do. And here they provide you with these 3 sections that usually are on this document. So first of all, the permission is a section of the document that gives explicit permission for the engagement to be carried out. So this is really important. Once again, you gotta have a permission to do a penetration test. This permission is essentially to legally protect individuals and organizations for the activities they carry out. Yeah, pretty self-explanatory. Then test scope. Again, are you testing a network, a web application, a service, an API? Usually on the rules of engagement, this is really this is specifically stated there, so you know what is your target. So they are saying that this section of the document will annotate specific targets to which the engagement should apply. Okay. For example, the penetration test may only apply to certain servers or applications, but not the entire network. Once again, pretty self-explanatory. Okay, rules. The rules section will define exactly the techniques that are permitted during the engagement. For example, the rules may specifically state that techniques such as phishing attacks are prohibited, but man-in-the-middle attacks are okay. One technique that is almost every time prohibited is denial of service. And unless you are like specifically trying to test if the target can take that kind of attack, or if you're just testing in a quality environment and that's okay for the client, that's good. But most of the times DOS is also prohibited. Okay, so let's go to the questions now. You are given permission to perform security audits on an organization. What type of hacker would you be? So I would say that you're a white hat because you have the permission. Now, you attack an organization and steal their data. What type of hacker would you be? So this is a criminal activity. What the hell did I just... If I can type, that would be good. Okay. What document defines how a penetration testing engagement should be carried out? And as you can see, these questions are pretty straightforward, and these are not supposed to be challenging. These questions are just here to make sure that you retain the information that you just read. So, rules. This is complicated today. Okay. Yeah, we are all done. Let's go to task 3. And once again, I want to just check here the question so we know what we are looking for when we read the text above. So, what stage of penetration testing involves using publicly available information? So here we are looking for different stages of penetration testing. Okay. Now, if you wanted to use a framework for pen testing telecommunications, what framework would you use? And here they are saying that they are looking for an acronym. Okay, so we are also looking for different frameworks for penetration testing, and in this case specifically for telecommunications. And then, what framework focuses on the testing of web applications? Okay, another framework. Okay, so let's go up here. Yeah, there's a lot of information here. All basic concepts, but this is really good for everyone that is just starting on that have interest in this field of penetration testing. So they get the most important information right off the bat. Okay, So first of all, information gathering, that's the first stage. This stage is basically for you to collect as much information as you can from your target. And then you have enumeration and scanning. This stage involves discovering applications and services running on the systems. And here you are trying to understand, okay, is there something that is vulnerable, and why do you want to find that? Because then there comes the exploitation phase or stage, and that involves leveraging vulnerabilities that you just found on the previous stage. And then you can use public exploits or exploiting application logic, sorry. Then you have privilege escalation. So what they are trying to explain you here is that there are different ways to do this privilege escalation. So usually when you get access to a system or application and they tell you here that that is known as a foothold, at this stage, normally you have access to a normal user account, and then you can do the privilege escalation, and you can do it in a horizontal way or vertical way. If you're trying to do it horizontally, you're basically trying to get access to different users on the same permissions group as you have. But vertically, you're trying to get more permissions. You are trying to get access to everything. So you want to be an admin, for example. And then the last phase is post-exploitation, and you have the 3 or 4 sub-stages here. So you can search for other hosts on the network for you to exploit. You can gather additional information depending on the privilege escalation that you did. Imagine that you got admin privileges, so now you can see other stuff that you couldn't from a normal user account. Covering your tracks, so make sure you also delete the mess that you did and the tools that you installed, and that you leave everything as you found whenever that's possible. And then the report phase. Reporting is so important, man. Many people don't understand this, but reporting is the thing that helps you to provide value to the client. When you're doing your report, we have to think that, okay, so I'm doing this because the client wants to know what I did and what they can do to fix the vulnerabilities that I found. So the report is very, very important. Okay, so now we have the frameworks that we just read about on the questions. And first we have this open source security testing methodology manual that provides a detailed framework of testing strategies for systems, software, applications, communications. That's the answer for the second question. I think I remember that correctly. So OSS TMM. Okay, here you have the different phases or the different topics, and then you have advantages and disadvantages. Here we have another framework. This is specifically for web application security. It's OWASP, it's pretty well known. Once again, advantages and disadvantages. Then you have NIST, that is pretty well known as well. Then you have this cyber assessment framework, which it is more for risk management and stuff. Okay, so the questions. What stage of penetration testing involves using publicly available information? So this is the first stage that we saw here. It is information gathering. I'm just copying this because I'm really lazy to write it down. As you saw before, for some reason I can't write today. If you wanted to use a framework for pen testing telecommunication, okay, yeah, that was that framework, OSSTMM. And I'm copying the acronym because they are asking for the acronym here, as you can see. Okay, let's see if it's correct. Yeah, it is. And what framework focuses on testing of web applications? Yeah, that is OWASP, as we just said before. Okay, that is pretty good. So we just finished our task 3. Let me just close this. So we have task 4, which talks about black box, white box, and gray box. I'm going to try to explain you this without opening the task. So these are 3 different contexts when it comes to penetration testing. Let's start with the white box. I think it's the easier to explain. So let's say that you have a client that wants you to do an audit on their web application, for example, and they give you the source code, they give you user accounts, they give you everything. So you know everything about your target. So that's a white box approach to a pen test. And then you have the opposite spectrum, which is the black box. Oh, I open it. Okay, but that's nothing. Oh, no, there's the answers there. Yeah, I can show you, it's okay. So when it comes to the black box, you have no knowledge about the target. So you are pretty blind, and this usually is the most expensive because you are wasting a little bit, not wasting, but you spend a little bit of time just trying to know your target. When on the white box approach, your knowledge is very broad and the client just gives you everything you need. And the gray box is partial knowledge. Yeah, that's a pretty good way to put it. Basically, you know some things, but you don't know everything. Maybe you have just an user account, and if you want to compromise the target, maybe you gotta have an administrator account. So you have to do privacy, and you don't know if there's something you could explore because you don't have the source code. So you have to do more information gathering and more scanning, and yeah. So this is like an intermediate between the black and the white box, as the colors suggest. So yeah, you can read the definitions they give you. I'm sure they are much better than what I just tried to tell you and try to explain. Let's see if we can answer these questions right now. Okay, so you are asked to test an application but are not given access to its source code. What pen testing process is this? So this is weird because a gray box pen test can also be on this scenario. If they don't give you the source code, but they only give you like a user account or some information about the technologies that they are using, maybe that is a gray box as well. But here I think they are trying to make you write black box because they don't give you access. So yeah, and here you ask to test the website, you are given the source code, so it's quite the opposite, so it must be white box. Yeah, for sure. So the gray box is a little bit dubious. It really depends on what the company wants, and if you think that it is a gray box, then you just tell them, okay, this is a gray box approach because we know this, we don't know everything, but we have a little bit of details about our target. Okay, so task 5. Oh, nice. We have a practical assessment here. So TryHackMe has approached you for an assignment. They want you to carry out the stages of a penetration test on their infrastructure. View the site by clicking the green button on this task, I think it's this one, and follow the guided instructions to complete this exercise. And then they are asking us for a flag. Okay, so let's do this. This is really cool. Okay, so rules of engagement. Let's go through the stages of a penetration test assignment for the TryHackMe company. So what I understand by this is that they are trying to make us do this assignment with them. So we are going to click next and view the different phases. Okay, so we received an email, as you can see here. We have permission to perform the penetration test, and we've put on this one. The client has sent a statement of work and scoping document, which is attached to this email. Please use this to begin the engagement. Okay, so we have our permission to start. That's great. Okay, so let's see what is here. Okay, this is the scope. The test scope will define what targets or environments are being tested against. For example, okay, so this is the definitions of these 3 main sections of the rules of engagement, which we checked when we were on the previous task. So this is all good. We already know that. Okay, information gathering. So we are trying to find out things about our target. Now, the information gathering stage is often undervalued. That is very true. And in my opinion, the more you know about your target, the better, because you can pretty much come up with new attack vectors and new ideas of how could you possibly exploit the target, depending on how much information you have about the target. Okay, so this stage involves using publicly accessed channels to collect intel on your target. Okay, so yeah, so this guy or this girl, yeah, it's a girl, I guess. So yeah, this is an HR administrator, and there's their email. Okay, so we can use this email to do like a phishing campaign or something like that. This could be useful, or we can like use the email to try to impersonate this person and get some credentials or get some information about our target as well. Okay, here enumeration and scanning. Alright, so they want us to make okay, oh look, let's pretend Abby from stage 2 made a post on LinkedIn sharing a blog post she wrote about ACME. From this post you can find ACME's web server IP. Okay, so let's scan this IP using this tool that they provide us. Let's scan target. Okay, starting vulnerability scan for the IP we just provided. Service vulnerable, web yes, login no. So okay, so this is vulnerable for a web exploit. So let's go next, and here it's the exploitation phase. And here we have a GIF, an animation of the target being exploited, which is pretty cute. Exploitation is the use of a vulnerability discovered to gain unauthorized access to an information security system or data. Yeah, for sure. Here they are telling you that on this example we enumerated ACME's website in stage 3 and found out that it was vulnerable. And we saw that on the scan on the phase 3. Okay, so we would now exploit this website, thus ethically hacking ACME's website. Okay. Next, post-exploitation. This is a big text. Yes, you can pretty much try to do some privilege escalation. And then here they are talking about the report and the clearing up. This stage usually occurs at the end of a penetration test, of course. This is usually done in a form of a report that contains details regarding any security issues you've found and how to mitigate them. This is really important. And not only how to mitigate them, but also how you found it. They have to know which attack vector you used to exploit their services or their applications. So imagine that they have other services using the same vulnerability or with technologies that have the same vulnerability. So that is really important as well. You're providing value to the client by doing it. Then the client will use this report to understand the security issues and fix the flaws in the technology stack that was tested. Here is the phrase that is telling you what I told you on the beginning, which is this is how we provide value to the client. It's through the report. Then it's also best practice to clean up the environment you've been testing whenever it's possible. For example, if you were provided access to machines or tooling by the client, you need to delete any artifacts that have been created as a result of testing. Yeah, make sure you clean up your mess after doing the audit if you can. So we got our flag. Here they are thanking us for the report. Thank you for sending over your report. I still can't believe you managed to find several critical vulnerabilities in your application. Yeah, usually clients are very happy when you give them vulnerabilities so they can fix them. Because now they are more secure. Their security posture just got better. Imagine if a bad guy, a black hat hacker, found that vulnerability first. That would be really bad. Now, I can also confirm we've removed the high privilege user accounts you managed to create. Yeah, so they also did the clearing up for you. So that's really good. That's a nice client. That's not every day that you get one of those. So let me paste the flag here. And I think, yes, we finished the room. It seems like I got some tickets, okay. Go away. Okay, let's see if I can close this. I'll go to the yeah. Oh, why is this not completed? Oh yeah, there it goes. So on the next video we are going to take a look at this new room, at this second room, principles of security. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We are trying to make all the learning path, and as you can see we have more 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 modules to go. So let's see if we can do it all, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!